You're having great journal sessions, you're being more grateful, you're growing your relationship with your creator. What is it that's helping you feel good? You need to recognize that. You need to be aware of that during that time as well. Because at any time, remember, there's the law of rhythm. Everything that goes up must come down. So you're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions. But if you know what helps you feel good, what keeps you on point, what is it that gets you to the highest vibration, now you know at any point you know what to do to help yourself feel good. So for me, as an example, my morning routine is, as you guys know, that's the key for me, right? That's my foundation. I know that if I'm in a slump, if I know I'm not feeling good, things are not working out in my business, and I just kind of lost it, I know at any time, the moment I complete a full morning routine where I wake up on time, I practice my gratitude, I read my books, I do my meditation, I write in my journal, I get a good gym session in. Nowadays, I get some sauna sessions in. Thank God for, moving to Miami and having a great environment that I invest a lot of money into. But, it feels great. But I say that because now I know what gets me to feel good. And part of having great emotional intelligence is understanding what your strengths are, right? Which is what's going to help you feel good, what's going to get you to your tip top shape, what's going to get you to that best vibration, but also understanding, what causes you to feel down. What are your weaknesses? What are the things that can happen on a day-to-day basis that, maybe don't align with where you want to go in life? And it causes you to doubt yourself, and it causes you to have these fears and these insecurities. You got to be aware of that. So, the first part and the first level of emotional intelligence is just your self-awareness, understanding yourself. And remember, this works for everything, not just entrepreneurship, but your relationship with your family, your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your business partner, your relationship with your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, whoever it is. It helps you understand it a lot better as well, because now it's the same thing with that. With those specific relationships, it's, you know what your strengths are, what makes you feel good about that person, but you also know the things that make you tick, and the things that maybe sometimes don't align and may trigger you as well. So you also got to be aware of that so you can be able to fix that. So that's the first level. The second level of emotional intelligence is self-management. Okay, this one is key, because self management is all about using specific strategies to eliminate the things that are disturbing you. Okay, being able to manage your emotions a lot better on a day to day basis, right? I've always, came to the understanding that you got to be able to manage your thoughts. You got to manage your feelings. You got to know when to switch from positive, to a more uplifting person. You got to know how to switch those negative thoughts into positive ones. It's a lot of things, and self-management is key, because I always tell people this, right? Everything that you feel is all about what you think. And I've learned that 70,000 thoughts that we have in a day, we have 70,000 thoughts in a day. You got to think about that. That's 70,000 seeds that are being planted on a day to day basis, whether they're conscious or unconscious. There's 70,000 seeds being planted. So you have to really know what's being planted in your mind by fixing what's going in your mind, standing guard at the door of your mind, being able to manage your thoughts, recognizing those negative ones and turning them into positive ones, recognizing when you doubt yourself and turning those doubts into beliefs, recognizing when you're, having thoughts of worry and turning them into thoughts of believing and thoughts that things are going to work in your favor. It's recognizing those things, right? It's managing. I think about it. The second level is self management. Think about a manager at work. Think about any manager. Their job is to manage people. Make sure that you're, giving people the right tasks, making sure that people are being held accountable. All right. Keeping things in order is part of management. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, you need to learn how to manage your thoughts and your emotions. Okay. Because if you don't manage them, then they'll take a mind of their own, and they'll go wherever it is that, you know, It takes them. And the thing is, here's the tricky part with that though. 70% of what most people think about is negative. So if majority of what we think about is already negative based off of our environments and the limitations and social media and the things that we see on a day-to-day basis, you got to think about it. You're going to put yourself in a position to lose if you're not managing your thoughts, if you're not managing your emotions. This is why I always teach the routine is so key. Because if you have a routine every day, you can manage what's going in, what's going out. Every day, if you're reading a good book, every day you're getting poured in great information. If every day on your drive to work, you have a podcast and an audio on, okay, you're listening to Mornings with Nano, you're getting poured in great information every time. You know, if every time you wake up, you're practicing mindful meditation and you're getting rid of the negative thoughts, you're practicing good gratitude every morning, you're praying, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you know, you're going to eventually get your mind to the point where it's only thinking positive. You know, I heard one of my favorite, rappers, in an interview, his name is Drake. You guys may know him. You know, he said he doesn't let not even one negative thought enter his inner matrix, right? And the reason why is because that one negative thought is a seed planted. And every time you give attention to that specific thought, that you watering the seed. And the more you water that seed, okay, the more you feel those emotions. Okay. Now remember, your emotions are the gateway into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls your habits, it controls your programming. So if you're constantly thinking and feeling these thoughts and these emotions, okay, eventually is what it becomes. It becomes a program. And then you wonder why nothing works in your favor and why you're always exhausted and why you can never, get over that hump or do what you're supposed to do, regardless how much you try, no matter what anybody tells you, you can never get yourself to do something, is because sometimes we've planted specific thoughts in our mind and we felt those emotions and those thoughts so much that we deeply ingrained these beliefs.
All right, guys, let's get the call started. It is time. There we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Mornings with Nano. I am your host. My name is Nano Torres, and I'm so blessed and very grateful to be here this morning. It is Thursday. It is May 15th. And man, let me tell you guys, it feels like the year is flying. I was looking at the date before I opened up the call, and I'm like, yo, it's already May 15th. We're already halfway through May. For those that don't know, my birthday's in 2 weeks. My birthday's actually on June 1st. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, sheesh, man. It's already Friday, right, Yana? It's already Friday. Yeah, my birthday's right around the corner. I feel like I just turned 30 last year. And, now I'm about to turn 31. So I'm like, sheesh, man, the years are really flying by, and it's actually incredible to see it all go by so fast. But that's exactly the reason why we need to be taking advantage of every single day that we have access to, right? Because as we can see, every day that we don't take advantage of the time that we have is time wasted. If we look back at the last couple of years, I had a mentor of mine give me this perspective. He was like, yo, if you were to look back at the last 5 years, just the last five, how much time have you wasted? Think about that. And it made me think about it because I'm like, I've taken advantage of a lot of the time too, but I thought about a lot of the time that I wasted doing things that weren't productive, that weren't conducive to my growth, doing all these things. And I'm like, these are things we can't afford to do. Like, a lot of us, real quick, if anybody doesn't mind, does anybody, can you guys just drop down what ages you guys are in real quick? What ages, if you don't mind sharing with me, how old or how young are we? I'm turning 31 June 1st. All right. So let me see where everybody's at. Okay, so I see, oh wow, almost the first couple of people were all 30s and above. Mick 40, 30, 34. Prime. 26 for SG, 35 for Frankie, 37, 33, 24, 36. Okay. 21. Jeech 22. Wow. How many of us wish we could go back to Jeech's age, right? We in the 50s too. We got a couple 50-year-olds. God bless you guys. God bless. God bless. 21. I had here on Instagram. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Wow. So for the most part, actually, this group is from the age of, I would say majority come from the age of 25 to, I would say, 30, 25 to 35. But we also have some older individuals here that are in their 40s and 50s, which says a lot about you guys, because I'm younger than you, and you don't have no ego, no pride to learn from me. So I want to say that I appreciate you guys for taking the time to jump on these calls and learn. And I learn from everybody, so I appreciate you guys for that as well. Turning 40, they showed me that growth is never ending. Yes, absolutely. Amazing. We're never too old to learn. Yes, never, never, never. This is awesome, guys. God bless every single person. We have some amazing people on this call. And, I know for my people that have hit their, mid 30s, early 40s and 50s, I know that you guys can give me advice. I'm sure that, if I were to ask you guys for a piece of advice on what I can do to become better in my 30s, I'm sure you guys could give me some pretty solid advice that I would really appreciate. And I know that some of my, individuals that are already a little bit older, they will tell us that are younger not to waste any time, right? Am I right or am I wrong? For my individuals that are a little older, right, who are in their late 30s, early 40s and 50s, can we all agree? Can we tell the youngins that we should not be wasting any time? Don't waste time, because time flies. Time flies, man. Time flies. I could tell you. I mean, I'm 30, but I feel young. I still feel young. And I know that, for example, I remember Mick, he just hit 40, if I'm not mistaken. I think he put 40 in the chat. I'm sure Mick will tell me, yo, Nano, don't waste any time from my 30 to my 40s. I got a decade to go, and that's time waits for no one, exactly. So this is something that we want to take advantage of always. So I want to make sure. I'm 21, but I feel like I've lost so much time. Now you still got a lot of time, but don't waste any time. Like don't fall for the society norm. Oh, you got time. You're still young. Don't listen to that. Go and get everything that you want now, so that by the time you hit 25, you're already living the life of your dreams. And that's gonna go right into my topic today, which is unshakable focus. How to lock in and level up all of summer 2025. All right. Unshakable focus. How to lock in and level up all of summer 2025. And some of you guys may be wondering, well, Nano, why are we talking about summer if we're still in May? Well, you can't wait till summer to lock in. You got to be locking in from now so that you can enter the summer locked in, if that makes sense. Right? You see, that was something that I learned very early on in my career, was don't wait to lock in. Enter the season locked in. And I learned that when I started a new year, right? One of my mentors, he always explained to me, he was like, Nano, you never wait for the new year to start or to lock in or to put yourself in position. You got to go into the new year already locked in. You got to go into the new year already in the habits, in the routines, in the rhythm of who it is that you want to be this summer. And being that we're probably like about I would say a month and a half, not a month and a half. I would say we're probably like 5 weeks from the summer. This is the perfect time for you to have unshakable focus. I need everybody here to lock in. If you're locked in already, great. Let's stay locked in. If you're not locked in, I need you to lock in, because here's why you need to lock in now. Summer is a season where a lot of people slow down. And it's the reality of the situation, is how we've been programmed. Okay, people go on vacations, distractions are at all-time highs. There's a lot of dopamine traps. All right. So we need to understand, like, yo, this is the summer of separation for us. This is not the summer for distraction. This is the summer for separation. Because put a 2 in the chat box if you are not where you want to be at right now. If you're not where you want to be at mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, put a 2 in the chat box if you're not where you want to be at. I'm going to put a 2 in the chat box right there myself. I'm not where I want to be at. So this is not a summer for me to be distracted. This is not a summer for me to turn up. I've already had a lot of those summers in my lifetime. This is a summer for me to lock in. This is the summer for me to separate so that I can elevate. But those kind of summers are for the disciplined few. One of my favorite quotes of all time says, success, how is it? Success is for the chosen few, not for the few who chose. Yeah, here it is. Success is not for the chosen few, it's for the few who chose. I'm going to repeat that again. Success is not for the chosen few, it's for the few who chose. We have to make the choice. Success is for the few who choose. That's the people on this call. Exactly, SG. Many are called, few are chosen. I'm calling you all on this call right now, 100 plus on the call. We are all being called to lock in this summer. But how many of us, all right, are actually going to choose to lock in? Impeccable focus is going to be the secret weapon that can turn a 3-month window into a life-changing leap. My life-changing leap happened in 2019. I'll never forget it. That was a summer that I locked in like I never locked in my life. I locked in like if my life was on the line, because I had already been in my business for 2 years. And I was in a time in my life where I was like, yo, enough is enough. You know, when you guys reach that time in your life where you're like, yo, you know what, Nano, enough is enough. Lock in, Nano, lock in. And like I said, a little 3-month window turned into a life-changing leap. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can have a life-changing leap this summer. But you have to do these 4 things that I'm going to show you guys on this call. If you can do these 4 things, you'll have a life-changing leap this summer. But it starts now. It doesn't start when the summer starts. Summer starts, if I'm not mistaken, June 20th, June 2021. So we got to lock in from now so that when the summer comes, we already are running through the summer. We're not starting the summer. We're locking in all summer. So there's 4 things you got to do this summer. There's 4 steps you got to take to make sure that you have unshakable focus and so that you can lock in and level up all summer. Number 1, clarity is the catalyst. Clarity is the catalyst. Understand that lack of clarity is the number 1 time waster. We talked about this as we started the call. We talked about wasting time. And believe it or not, the reason why most people waste time is because of lack of clarity. You need to define exactly what a winning summer looks like for you. I want you to remember, this is an assignment that I'm giving you right now on this call. At some point, whether you want to do it now or whether you want to do it after this call, I want you to write down this question. What does a winning summer look like for me? Question mark. If you were to identify what a winning summer looks like to you, you need to identify it. For everybody, it's going to be different. So I'm not going to jump into different examples and all these different things. What I will say is identify it. Because if not, you're going to step into the summer with no clarity, with nothing to work towards, with no target, no goal, no direction. So we need to remember this. What does a winning summer look like to you? How much money do you got to make? How much sales do you have to make? How much weight do you got to lose? How many countries do you got to travel to? What needs to happen for you to be able to look back in September and be like, yo, I just had the best summer of my life. I quit my job. I made this amount of money. I made this many sales. I hit this level in my business. I became this person. I lost this much weight. I gained this much muscle. My relationship with God grew this much. I did this for my family. I did this for my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, my kids. What does a winning summer look like to you? This is important that we all understand this. And what I would recommend that you do is set out 3 core goals that you want to hit this summer from June to August. What are going to be the 3 core goals that you want to hit this summer? Think of them. Get clear on them. This is important. Before we can go into anything, clarity is the most important part. Lack of clarity is the number one time waster. Lack of clarity leads to no action. No actions lead to no results. So there needs to be clarity for everybody. All 115, 120 people we have on this call, I should be able to go up to you at the end of the day, and I should be able to ask all of you one by one. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Bougie. Hey, David. Hey, Mick. Hey, India. Hey, David, Sophia. I should be able to go to every single person and be like, what are your 3 core goals this summer that you want to hit? And you should be able to tell me number 1, number 2, number 3. If you can't do that, there's no clarity. That means lack of clarity, which means you're going to waste a lot of time this summer. There needs to be a lack of clarity. Sorry, there needs to be no lack of clarity. You need to have clarity on what you want this summer. It needs to be clear. So I want you guys to really think about this. I want you guys to get very serious about this. This includes myself. This includes myself. What do you want this summer? What does a winning summer look like for you? For everybody, it's going to be different because I understand that people are in different seasons of their life. For some people, a winning summer is going to be making a ton of sales and making a lot of money this summer. There'll be people that are on this call that they're a winning summer to them will be, becoming a better version of themselves, locking in with their morning routine, getting a closer relationship with God. I remember summers where my summers weren't dedicated to making more money or making more sales. My summers were dedicated to focusing on Nano because I was in such a different place in my mind. That summer for me, that summer 2019 summer that I'm telling you guys about, that was a money summer for me. That was Nano, let's go make $10,000 a month when I was making like $2,000 a month. Let's go make these many sales. Let's go help this many people win. Like that was what that summer was for me. But I've had summers where it was let's become a better version of you summer. For example, summer of 2023 was let me start building a relationship with God summer. That was a summer I got baptized. That was a summer that I gave my life to Jesus Christ. That was a summer that I started reading the word. That was a summer that I spent a lot of time in isolation. That was that summer I was dealing with one of the hardest years of my life that summer. So that summer, remember, everybody's summer is going to be dedicated to something different based off of the season that you're in. So everybody's going to have a different level of clarity going into the summer, but it's important that you know what you want. No summer is better than another. That's the reality of it. I had seasons where my summers were dedicating to making more money, to making more sales, to hitting higher levels in my business. And like I just told you guys, I had summers where I was just focused on building a relationship with God and becoming a better version and healing myself and so on and so forth. Their summers are going to vary. The summers are going to vary. There were summers that they were turn up summers for me. Call it what it is. There were summers that I traveled all summer. I traveled, I went on tour, I experienced the world. Those I had summers like that too as well. Not saying that any of them are bad, but we need clarity. We need clarity on it. So remember this: lack of clarity will be your number one time waster. And here's the tricky thing about the summer. Let me tell you something about the tricky thing when it comes to the summer. Here's what happens to people, because it has happened to me. If you let the summer slip away, it will, if you let it slip away, if you let the distractions and the vacations and the stuff, you'll get lost. And here's what happens: you let the summer go. Guess what happens? September comes around. Guess how many months of the year are left now? Only 3. That end, then you kind of get into this end of the year mood, like, oh, you know what? You look back and you're like, yo, it's already September. I haven't done this year. And then you let your own self get into your own head and you're like, yo, it's already September. I haven't done anything this year. I set these goals at the beginning of the year. I haven't done anything. I didn't keep my New Year's resolutions. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't read any books. I haven't got to the next level in my business. I'm still making the same amount of money. I still got the same struggles. You get in your own thing. Next thing you know, boom, September finishes. Now you're in October. Thanksgiving is around the corner. Then you're telling yourself, you know what? I might as well just start next year. I might as well just wait till December, January so I could start all over again. Has that ever happened to anybody else? Put a 3 in the chat if that has ever happened to you, right? Where you kind of reached the end of the year and you just kind of was like, whatever, bro. I guess it was just one of those years, right? It's happened to me many times, not just once or twice. It's happened to me a couple of times. You can't let the summers slip up. The summers is that middle ground where it really does determine how you go into the end of the year. Because think about it, if you have a really good summer, when you have a really good summer, here's what happens. You go into that last quarter of the year pushing, grinding. Let me push, let me finish strong. Let me go finish the year strong. But when you have a weak summer, you go into that last quarter with regret. You go into that last quarter feeling guilty, and you slow down and you let yourself go almost in a way. So this is a very crucial time for all of us that are on this call. You could have had a slow moment. You could have had a slow year up until this very moment right here, and you could change the direction of your year just by this call. You could be on this call right now and make a decision. You know what? Nano's right. This could be the decision that makes or breaks your year. This could be the decision right here that you say, you know what, Nano, you're absolutely right. I need to lock in this summer. This is going to be the summer where I lock in with God. This is going to be the summer where I make more money. This is going to be the summer where I do this, and that. I need clarity. Let me sit down after this. Let me grab a pen. Let me grab a paper. Let me get clarity on my goals. We need this. As a matter of fact, none of us can afford this. None of us can afford a weak summer this summer. None of us. We all need to be at our best this summer. Our focus needs to be at the best that it's ever been. Okay? So number 1 is clarity is the catalyst. It's all up to you now. It's all about clarity. All right? Number 2, win the morning, win your focus. You know, I'm going to talk about this because you guys know how big I am on making sure that we make ourselves the priority. If you win your morning, you win your focus. Your morning routine determines your entire day. You need to install, every single one of us, we need to install a consistent, distraction free morning that develops your focus and your energy. We need to have such, you need to install. Remember, when you install something, you're adding something to your life. You need to install a consistent, distraction free morning routine into your schedule. Every single one of us. I know I talk about this maybe on every single call, but I'm going to remind you again because I know there's a lot of people that still don't do it no matter how many times I talk about it. And even if you're doing it, if you're distracted, it's not intentional. What made you break through into a new level of life that changed your whole reality? My morning routine, SG. It was my morning routine, I promise you. It was the consistency of my morning routine that I started in April all the way through July. All the way through July, I was consistent every day, 7 days a week. I never took a day off my morning routine. And here's the key. Remember, it's not just a regular routine. It's not just wake up, oh, let me pray, let me read, let me do this. It's about the intention behind it. You see, let me explain something to you. If you're not waking up at the same time every single day, your routine is not intentional. That's the first thing I'm going to say. If you don't wake up at the same time every day, rain or shine, no matter what time you fell asleep the night before, if you're not waking up at the same time, your routine is not intentional. The way my mentor explained it to me was, he said, Nano, here's why waking up at the same time is so key. He said, think about when someone is building a house, right? When someone's building a house, they're laying bricks, and they need to be laying bricks in the right place in order for the house to be built structurally and foundationally solid. He said, when you wake up one day at this time, and the next day you wake up at this time, and then the next day you wake up at this time, and then one day, and then the next day you wake up at the time you're supposed to, and then there's an inconsistent, you're laying bricks in different places, which means you're not building something solid. You need to lay your bricks at the same time every day. Boom. He said, you need to be so intentional about everything. Wake up at this time, meditate at this time, read at this time, journal at this time, gym at this time. Your routine has to be so structurally, it has to be almost perfect. You got to try to make it as perfect as you can. Not try, do your best to make it as perfect as you can. Wake up, read, whatever that routine is for you. Because if you're not waking up at the same time, that means that you are not being intentional. Lack of intention doesn't create. Only intentionality creates. So some of you may be wondering, well, Nano, I do my morning routine, but nothing has changed. It's because you're not being intentional about it. Like I said, lack of intention doesn't create. Lack of intention does not create. So yes, you could be doing your routine, and yes, you may be feeling a little bit better and so on and so forth. But if you really want to create, you got to be waking up Monday through Sunday at the same time. And yes, Saturdays and Sundays included. Saturdays and Sundays included. None of us are where we want to be at. When I asked you guys earlier, are you where you want to be at? All of us said twos. We're not where we want to be at. So none of us can afford to take the weekend off. Remember, guys, yes, some of you guys may be working jobs, but we're not employees. We are creators. We are way more than employees. Do not let the title of your life determine your reality. You determine your reality. The weekends are not for days off. It's not for us. Don't get caught up in society's mindset. Don't get caught up in that. You create your reality. Remember what I always tell you guys. You can take a day off the business. You could take a day off of work. You could take a day off of social media. You could take a day off of everything else, but you never take a day off yourself. Don't ever take a day off of you. Never. Every day there needs to be constant work on you. Every day. So if you're on this call and you're like, Nano, look, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't been waking up at the same time. This is the time. This is the key. You want to have a summer where you're locked in. A summer where you're locked in is not a summer where you wake up at whatever time you want every single day. That's not a locked in summer. So when I think about somebody who's locked in, it's somebody that's waking up at the same time every day, doing their routine every single day. Focus on you until the focus is on you. This is important, guys. Please do not let this be the summer where you just get lost in the sauce. This is not that kind of summer. Don't let this be the summer where where you lose yourself. As a matter of fact, I challenge everybody on this call to go phone free for the first 90 minutes of you waking up. I want this to be the summer where the first 90 minutes of you waking up, you dedicate it to you. Please. The first 90 minutes, at least the first 60 to 90 minutes of you waking up, dedicate it to you. And be intentional about it. Put your phone down. Some of us use the phone to work. Wake up earlier. Work doesn't start after a certain time. Let me tell you. No, you could shut off your alarm. Don't get me wrong. You could shut off your alarms. You could. What I'm saying is, don't be on your phone in the first hour of the day. Don't get on Instagram. Get up early enough where nobody needs you. If you're getting up and you have to get to work right away, you're waking up at the wrong time. You're waking up too late in the day. You need to be waking up at a time where when you wake up, everybody's still sleeping. You need to be in that energy, in that aura. All right? That's where you need to be at. Some of us are traders. Now, I get that. I get that. Trust me. I get the traders. Don't get me wrong. Make sure you set up a trade where you set it up and you're so confident in your trade. You got your stop losses. You got your take profits. You set it and forget it. I remember those days where I had to just trust my trade. I just had to trust my trade. You got to do what you got to do, right? If you got to check it here and there right away, real quick, that's fine. But the main important thing is that you focus on you. The first 60 to 90 minutes, give it to you and to God. Watch what that quiet time will do for you. How many of us can actually say that this year we've dedicated quiet time to ourselves? How many of us can truthfully say, yo, Nano, I do it every day. Every day I'm up, I put my phone to the side and I focus on me and God for the first 60 to 90 minutes. How many of us can truthfully, honestly say that right now? I promise you there's not many. I promise you there's not many. There'll be some days, there'll be some people here that say it. Yeah, Nano, for sure, me. And I appreciate that. But look, I asked it and less than 5 people out of 100 plus said yes. It varies, to be honest. I get it, John. I'm with you, bro. How many hours do you sleep? 6, 7 hours is all I need. Not me for the past 6 months. Michelle, I feel you. I've been there too as well. But that's why we need a change. So my sis Melissa said, your trading will improve when you wait to start your trading day until you focused on your morning routine first. That's very true. I slacked off these past few weeks. We got to lock back in. Yes, you do, Samaya. I got to see the best version of Samaya. Locked in Samaya is completely different from distracted Samaya. I notice my energy is a little off on the days I don't take time for myself. I agree, Nick. There's really no excuses. Crazy how many excuses we create. I know I've been there before. Sometimes not a full hour, however, God always gets my time first. I understand that, Andre, but there should be no excuses. It should be every day, minimum, that you're dedicating an hour to yourself. Nobody on this call can sit here and look me in my face and tell me that you don't have an hour to dedicate to yourself every day. Nobody. Nobody is that busy. Nobody on this call is that busy. Everybody here, out of the 24 hours we have in a day, everybody here has 1 hour to focus intentionally and quietly on themselves. Every single one of us on this call has it. No matter how, you could have 100 businesses. Everybody has an hour. Because without you, there is no growth. There is no change. There is nothing if there is no you. So what is it that we are allowing to steal our time? So if you're on this call, this is the next thing I want you to do. I want you to map out what your morning routine is going to be and what time you're going to be waking up at. Facts, you can't succeed when you're not focused. You can't do anything if you're not focused. Focus everywhere leads to focus nowhere. You want to have a good summer? You want to have a locked in summer? Before you can get the results that you want in your life, you got to get results with you. If you wake up every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at the same time, find a good, comfortable, but uncomfortable time. For me, that time is 6:30. 6 to 6:30 is that good, solid time where even if I go to sleep at midnight, I still get a solid 6.5 hours of sleep, potentially 7 hours. Usually I'm in bed by 11-ish. I'm always asleep by midnight. By midnight, I'm already in bed. I shoot to wake up at a solid time. I catch up on a little bit more sleep on the weekend, worst case. You got to find that comfortable time for you. This is important. 6:30 a.m. is too late for me. No, I get that. That's, bro, one of my leaders was up this morning at 3:30 on a jog. I'm like, sheesh, bro. Is it the same time every day or do you have a different schedule on the weekends? No, it's basically the same time every day, to be real. The way I catch up on the weekend is maybe I'll take a nap after my routine because I don't have much calls or whatever it is. But we need to get like this. You know what? I'm telling you this. When you focus on you, everything else changes. I could do a whole call. I could stop the call right here and that's it. This is all you got to go do and your life will shift. Everything will shift for you if you just follow what I'm telling you guys right here. But most don't do this. This is what's slowing everybody up. This is what's slowing everybody else down. Because lack of routine leads to lack of focus. When you're not focused, distractions are getting the best of you. When you're focused, you're aware of distractions. When you're not focused, you let distractions in. You need to become aware of this stuff. So I challenge all of you. To go phone free for the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking up. For 60 to 90 minutes, phone free. Can I count on you guys to start doing that this summer? I mean, not this summer, starting now. Starting this weekend, going into this next week. Because think about this. Let this be the weekend that you plan out. Like if I'm on this call and I'm listening to this message and this message is hitting home for you right now and you're like, yo, Nano's right. I need to lock in. I'm gonna take this weekend. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep in this weekend. I'm gonna get all the sleep I need this weekend. I'm gonna rest this weekend. I'm gonna go to the beach this weekend. I'm gonna go have a nice dinner this weekend. I'm gonna sit down in silence for an hour this weekend. I'm gonna set out my routine on what time I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get clear on what it is that I want. I'm gonna limit my distractions, everything. So that come Sunday, I have a clear game plan that when I wake up on Monday morning, on May on May 19th, when I wake up Monday morning on May 19th, I'm waking up from at the same time every day. Every day, every day, every day, every day. And here's the key. There is going to be slip ups. Don't let the slip ups get the best of you. I've had days where I slipped up, but here was the rule I would make. You can't slip up back to back. So for example, let's say you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you woke up every day at the same time. And then Thursday you slipped up. Maybe you woke up a little later. You hit the snooze button. You woke up a little later. Cool. Acknowledge it, but just make sure Friday you don't slip up again. Because remember, the goal is to build the compound effect. You want to build the compound effect. And when you're building, remember, boom, 1 day consistent, 2 day consistent, 3 day consistent, 4 days consistent. If you slip up, that's okay. 1 day is okay, right? Because it consolidates across. It's just like it stays the same. But the moment you slip up back to back, now it starts going down. 3 days slipping up, 4 days slipping up, 5 days slipping up, and then you slip your way all the way down. And then you got to start all over. So that was always my rule. If I have a slip up, give yourself grace because slip ups are bound to happen. Whatever you do, don't slip up back to back because then that starts the compound effect the other way. And if you understand the compound effect, you know how valuable that is. You know how valuable that is. For example, my boy Troy on the call, he said, I slipped up today. Give yourself grace, Troy. It is what it is, but tomorrow you can't slip up. Tomorrow you got to hold yourself accountable and know, yo, once that alarm goes off, I'm up. No slip ups tomorrow. That's how you got to treat yourself. No one else is going to hold you accountable. Don't ask for accountability partners. You have to be your accountability partner. Most people slip up on this. You got to be your own accountability partner here. You got to be the one that holds yourself accountable and is hard on yourself. Trust me, this is going to be the game changer. That's number 2. Number 3, guard your attention like gold. Guard your attention like gold. Guard it like gold. Your attention is one of the most important things that you can develop. Guard it like gold. And here's what I mean by this. You have to have your days split up into certain sections, for example. For example, if you really want to take full advantage of what you got going on here, there needs to be a time dedicated to you in the mornings. There needs to be a time dedicated for some of you guys for your job, a time dedicated to whatever it is that whatever skill you're going to be working on developing. You need to have periods of times where you're going to focus on specific things with intense focus and intensity. Don't be the person that is filled with distractions during every time of your day. You're doing your morning routine, but you're checking your phone, you're checking Instagram, you're reading a book, you get a notification, you're answering it. That's not attention. Your attention is being taken from you. You want to be locked in periods of time. Okay, this time is dedicated to me learning the skill. If it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, for those 2 hours, nobody should be able to come and steal your attention. That was when I was the most locked in. When I was doing my morning routine, I was doing my morning routine. When I was trading, I was trading. When I was building my business, I was building my business. When I was sitting at dinner with my family, I was sitting at dinner with my family. I had to learn the power of staying focused and attentive in all areas. Hard thing to do nowadays because there's so many distractions. And the biggest distraction we have, let me tell you guys what it is. Our biggest distractions is our phones, because our phones are with us at all times. There's always notifications, there's always phone calls, there's always text, there's emails. So these things are always distracting us. How can we have, like I said, locked in time, zero distractions for periods of time? What's going to be your locked in time in the morning, in the gym, in the skill development, in your job, with your family, with your kids? What's going to be that time in your relationship? Because how you do everything, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And where focus goes, energy flows. So what's going to be your breakdown? In a time where it's filled with so many distractions, you got to find times to focus. Use do not disturb. There's so many ways that we can do this, but we really need to be locked in this summer. This is not the summer to slip up. This is not the summer to vacation. This is not the summer to turn up. This is the summer for you to become the best version of you. And your attention is like gold. And guard it, protect it, because it's going to be the key. That's number 3. And then last but not least, number 4, review, reflect, and realign weekly. Review, reflect, and realign weekly. Understand, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. I'm going to repeat that again. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. So at the end of every week, you should be reflecting. And I've always taught you guys this. There's 3 main questions you should be asking yourself every Sunday. What did I do well this week? What didn't I do well this week? And what improvements am I going to make the following week? You need to be evaluating. You need to be reviewing. Yo, what did you do well this week? Yo, you woke up on time every day. You did what you were supposed to do. You was in the gym 5 days a week. You said you were going to do it. You did it. You did your morning routine every day. You did this every day. Boom, boom, boom. Here were the areas where you slipped up. This is what you didn't do well. Identify it, keep track of it, and improve on that the following week. If you can start to do this, if you can get in the habit of doing this, where you're focused on you, but you're also reviewing, you're also splitting up your days into time periods where you're spending more time focused. We don't learn from experience, we learn from reflection. Let me tell you the exact quote. The quote was, we do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. If you guys really want something powerful, download this. Go on Google and download this right here. It's called the Weekly Rhythm Register. I love this. This changed my life right here. It changed everything for me. It literally did. Because right here, what I would do is, I wish I could write on it, but it's not letting me. Let me see something. No, it's not letting me write on it. So, for example, you see right here where it says behavior and action. Where it says behavior and action, what I would do is, let's say I wanted to say reading here. Okay, reading, that was my behavior. Then what you do is you set a goal. How many days out of the week do you want to read? Let's say the goal is 7. Now I start my week. Monday, did you read? Yes. Tuesday, did you read? Yes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At the end of the week, when I'm done with it, the goal was 7. I achieved 7 the net is zero. Why is it zero? Because your net is a reflection of your goal and your achieved. So if, let's say, for example, my goal was 7, but I did 6, my net would have been 1. If my goal was 7 and I did 5 and I achieved 5, my net would have been 2. So is your goal subtracted by your achieved? Does that make sense for my people listening and that want to do this? I highly recommend you guys downloading one of these and printing these and using these. These helps you keep track of everything. So important. Put it on your refrigerator. Watch what happens. It's changed the game for me, and it's changed the game for a lot of my students as well. You just come in here, you put the behavior, how many times a week, and you hit it, right? I had gym here. The goal for me usually in the gym is 5 days a week. No matter how I do it, it has to be 5 days a week. Did I achieve it? Yes. Check it off. Net. Boom. At the bottom of it, you guys can't see it right now, but there's a total. Your goal should be to have your net as close to zero as you can. If you achieve zero as your net, that means you did everything you said you were going to do for the week. And then what this also shows you is it's going to show you the areas in your life where you're slipping up. That's what I loved about this weekly rhythm register right here. Because I would put a goal like journal, for example, and the goal was to journal 5 days a week. But then I would look at my days and I would look at it and I'd be like, man, I only journaled twice this week. So I know now that journaling was an area that I slipped up this week. So for the next week, when I do especially when I do my weekly evaluation, journaling was one of the things that I didn't do well. Next week, I got to do it well. Next week, journaling has to be the area where I am the best at. So that's where I did it. Where can we get it? I would Google it. Just Google it. Weekly Rhythm Register. They have it out there. You could just print it. I've printed it many times. You could just screenshot it, print it. This is where I recommend it. Weekly Rhythm Register. You do this checklist with your Sunday journal accountability checks. Yes. So what I actually do, Holly, is I do this. I look at this, and then what I was basically doing, I would basically do my weekly evaluations behind it. So I would literally behind it, I would do weekly evaluation, and then what did I do well? What didn't I do well? And what improvements am I going to make this next following week? Boom. So now I could look, oh, what did I do well? I would turn the page around. I did my morning routine well. I did this well. I did this well, this well, this well, boom, 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 boom. Okay, great. I'll turn around, write it down. Boom. What didn't I do well? And I'll look at the areas where I slipped up. I slipped up here, slipped up here, slipped up there. Boom, 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 boom. And the answers to your second question basically are the answers to your third question. So in reality, it's just 2 questions that you're answering. Because think about it, what you didn't do well, what you're going to improve on is the opposite of what you didn't do well. So if you didn't go to the gym, what you're going to improve on next week is going to the gym. If you didn't read, you're going to read next week. If you didn't, journal, you're going to journal next week. This takes 5 minutes to do. And now you go into next week intentionally knowing what your improvements are. Because here's the problem that most of you guys don't even realize. Because you don't do the weekly rhythm register, because you don't evaluate yourself, the bad habits that you had one week bleed over to the next week. You didn't evaluate, you didn't put a stop to it. So now they just bleed over to the next week. Now you have 2 weeks of doing bad habits. Then you don't do it again, 3 weeks, then turns into a month, then turns into a quarter, then it could turn into 6 months. I'm sure that has happened to you guys this year with certain habits. There were certain habits that you wanted to do at the beginning of this year that you didn't evaluate, that you didn't make yourself aware of. And now you've been falling, you let those bad habits bleed over week after week, month after month, and now you're in May and you still haven't been able to establish that habit. Am I right or am I wrong with what I'm saying right now? With certain people, with certain individuals, and that goes for me too. There's certain habits that I let bleed over, lack of evaluation, lack of me not paying attention, and now it's May, and this was something I was supposed to fix in January, in February. But my lack of evaluation, your lack of that destroys it. And now it's been 5 months and you still haven't been able to fix it. You know why? Because you didn't take 10 minutes on Sunday to evaluate yourself and make yourself aware of the habits that you've been slipping up on. But if I was to ask you, yo, show me your screen time, show me how much time you spent on Instagram, you probably have thousands of hours this year on Instagram already, but you didn't have 10 minutes to evaluate yourself. That's our problem right there. That's the problem right there. We have time for everything else, but for the things that are important, we don't make time. And look, 5 months have passed. And guess what? Another 5 months will pass. I know this sounds harsh. I know this is hard to accept, but this is the reality right here, guys, what I'm telling you. Another 5 months are going to pass. And if you don't make no changes, nothing is going to change for you. That's the reality. And it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of love. You need to wake up. You got to see where it is that you're slipping up at and identify that. We're going into a hard season where distractions are at all-time highs. Make sure that your focus is unshakable. That's what this training was about. Unshakable focus. Because how many more months, years do you want to be where you're not where you want to be at? I know you guys want to make more money, want to travel more, want to live better, want to have more peace, want these problems to disappear. But if we don't lock in, none of that stuff you think is going to happen by you staying in bed and not locking in. If you think anything is going to change by you doing that, it's not going to happen. The only way things are going to change is if you change. You got to change. And like I said, a lifetime of change can happen in 3 months of focus. Isn't that crazy? In these next 3 months, you could change a whole lifetime by just 3 months. I can tell you from experience because it's happened to me. My life has never been the same since 2019 summer. It just took 3 months of focus. My life was never the same. It was never the same. It's been amazing since then. But it took 3 months of focus, of intense, locked in focus, no slip ups. So those are the 4 steps that we all got to take this summer to make sure we lock in and level up. Number 1, clarity is the catalyst. Number 2 is win your morning, win your focus. Number 3 is guard your attention like gold. And number 4 is review, reflect, and realign weekly. Put a 4 in the chat box if you guys got value from today's call. But on top of that, most importantly, you're ready to lock in and focus. Come Monday, I want everybody on this call to jump on this call at all-time high energy. Nano, I woke up. Can you repeat number 4 one more time? Yes. Number 4 was review, reflect, and realign weekly. Review, reflect, and realign weekly. I want everybody to jump on this call on Monday and be like, yo, Nano, I am feeling on top of the world. I want to feel your energy through the screen. I want to be able to jump on this call and everybody's already done their full routines. Everybody is feeling on top of the world. You already did everything you needed to do, and you're just here to learn and elevate and start your day after. Okay? So I pray that everybody got value from this call. I pray that this was a wake-up call. I feel like we've been having a lot of wake-up calls throughout this week, from the call that we had yesterday by staying close to the vine. Okay, when we talked about method acting, all of this goes hand in hand with what we're teaching here today. Every teaching, if you go back, it all goes hand in hand with what we need to do to make sure that we win. All right. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for hopping on this call. Please like this video. If you haven't liked this video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, share this with a friend, share this with a family member that needs to hear today's message. And with that being said, I pray that you guys have a beautiful rest of your weekends. Let this weekend be the weekend where you plan, you prepare, you put yourself in a position to win big time. Okay, and let this be the weekend that you lock in so that the rest of the summer is prepared for you. And from this day moving forward, it's all up from here. It's lock-in season. Can we all type lock-in season in the chat for me, because it's lock-in season now. Lock-in season. Lock-in season. It's lock-in season, baby. That's it. No more games. Let's run this up. All right, guys. So quick prayer, and then we'll wrap it up. Quick prayer. Father God, we want to say thank you so much for this amazing week that has been filled with so many breakthroughs and so many quantum leaps all around our teams, our organizations, our families, and all around us. We're so grateful for all the work that you're doing for us. It really is a blessing, the way that you continue to bless us each and every single day. And we're just so excited now more than ever to lock in like never before. We want to lock in with you, Father. We want to lock in with ourselves. We want to lock in our businesses. So we ask, Father, that you remove any distractions, anything that's not serving us, Father, anything that is going to take us off the path, Father. We want you to remove it from our lives and keep us focused. Help us develop the attention and the focus that we need to make sure that it's laser focused, that nothing can take us off our path, and that we keep you in the center at all time, Father, because this is the year, this is the summer where we're going to make the massive leaps that we need to make in order for us to be the example in the rest of the world. And we're not going to be able to do it without you in the center, Father. So we're going to put you first. We're going to make sure that you are our priority, and then everything else will take care of itself, Father. So thank you for your love, your protection, your wisdom, your guidance, everything. We thank you so much. And we also thank you ahead of time for all the blessings that are going to rain on us all summer because of you, God. So we love you. We appreciate you. Let's lock in all summer, and we're all here with you. In your name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. We're locked in with the Lord. We are locked in with the Lord. Let's stay locked in with the Lord, and let's continue to elevate heavy. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. And I'll see you guys on Monday for another episode. God bless.